Astral Chain was developed by Platinum Games, released for the Nintendo Switch, and was released in 2019, and is being held prisoner by Nintendo, in my opinion. Astral Chain is a game that desperately needs a sequel. I would love another Astral Chain to build upon what was already put into this game. Now, this is not a review. I have already reviewed Astral Chain. I had to actually look back and make sure that I had. Otherwise, I would have done another review, but I did one. I will tag it here and leave it in the description box down below, or tag it in the comments, or some bollocks. I don't know. I'll figure that out later. So check that one out for more super in-depth stuff. However, I just wanted to talk about the game. I'm currently doing my third playthrough, I think, on the Nintendo Switch 2. Of course, on the Nintendo Switch 2, it just runs exactly the same as it does on the Switch. I would love for it to run at 60 frames per second, but it does run at a solid 30 anyway, and I remember it running absolutely fine and flawlessly when it was originally released. Now, this game, being developed by Platinum Games, if you are aware of their previous games, like the Wonderful 101 and Bayonetta 2, for example, then you'll know what you're getting into. This is an action game, but this also has a lot of moving parts with it as well. You can choose your character, boy or girl. You can then customize their look with their hair and their eye color. That's pretty much it. You can't have any beards, unfortunately, but you can have you can choose your hair and your hair color, and you can do that. That's pretty cool. But you can also gain other like little cosmetic things like hats and some different looking armors from time to time, and the colors of them. And you can also upgrade everything, basically. The things that you usually upgrade in these kind of games, you can. And you not only have to go around fighting using your legions, which are these, to simplify it, just basically monsters from an alternate dimension that you have on a chain, and they're domesticated and then they fight for you as opposed to against you. So it's kind of like slavery, but not, I suppose. But so you're using these monsters, and they auto-fight, but you can pull them to you or send them to enemies, and you can then press and hold like the left trigger and then move the right thumbstick, and then you can maneuver them around. So if you wrap them around an enemy, you'll chain that enemy and stun them. You can also move it across so that you can create like a rope. So if an enemy is doing like a charge attack towards you, you can then counter it by springing them back the way they came. There's a lot of other really cool mechanics that you can do. Your character can also fight as well with melee and ranged, and you can obviously get better and better at that, and you can use items and find things. It's all really cool, but also what's really cool is it's not just that. When you go to these different areas and do things, you're still a police officer, so you still have to talk to people, or people that don't want to talk to you. You move away and you send your legion in to listen, because normal people cannot see these legions, which is pretty cool. And then you can listen on their conversations. You have to gain clues. You can use your legion to clean up mess that's left behind from the dimensional rifts and stuff. You have to follow up on leads. You can make arrests and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of moving parts in Astral Chain, and not to mention that its graphical art style as well is really, really cool. I absolutely love the art style. I've always said I prefer a specific artistic direction with games over super realistic graphics, and here it's applicable, because not only do you get to the gorgeous graphics and the game runs absolutely solidly, but because of all the other parts in the game itself, you have all these really cool action segments. Like the game starts off and you're on a bike and you have to shoot the shit out of things and move and dodge items and stuff, and then you're running around on the ground and fighting things with melee and stuff. It's all really cool. I'm not going to spoil too much about the later game and whatnot, and there is a little incentive to replay the game as well. But just playing through the game as is a ton of fun. Astral Chain should, in my opinion, be ported to PC, Xbox, and PlayStation so that a wider audience can play the game. But unfortunately, the property is owned by Nintendo. So even though I think Platinum Games have pretty much gone in the shitter. From what I've researched, because I want an Astral Chain 2, 100%, but from my research, I think the guy and a few of the other people in charge of Astral Chain and Platinum Games at the time have moved on and started their own studio, and I think I found some mild sources, nothing other than trust me bro, but I found some things that state, oh yeah, Platinum Games and Nintendo just button heads and not getting along, which is an absolute shame. I know Astral Chain didn't sell a boatload, but it's one of those games that just deserved to, it's one of those games that is so damn good that I think people looked at it and said, oh, that's another Japanese anime weeby game, I'm not going to bother with that. And you're missing out completely. It's a damn good game and well worth picking up on the Switch. The physical copy here in the UK you can grab on eBay for about 25 to 30 quid. It's more than worth that. You'll definitely get your money's worth out of the game. It's not a short game. It's got a lot of depth, like I said. Loads to unlock. Loads of extra bonuses. There's scores and stuff for your cases and whatnot that you do, depending on how much effort you put into what you're doing. It's a damn good game, and I do recommend picking it up, and I do want an Astral Chain 2. Apparently, again, like I said with the sources, there is one being developed for the Switch 2. How much validity there is in that, I don't know, but I want it to be true, but I don't think so. I think Astral Chain is just going to be one of those amazing games that's just locked to the Switch, and the Switch 2, because it plays on the Switch 2, obviously, but that's it, that's all she wrote. But please let me know down in the comments, have you tried out Astral Chain? And like I said, if you want a more in-depth, technical, specific, more, like with me going into more details about the story and the whatnots, I'll tag my review. I don't want to go over the same stuff, as you can imagine. It just seems to be repeating myself, and I don't want to do that. But yeah, let me know down below what you guys think of Astral Chain, and as always, thank you very much for watching.